Kunja Bihari Jaya. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yas Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Om Shama Paramahansa Bhavaraj Acharya Sadasi Svedesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Nam Acharya Haridas Thakur ki Jai Prem Sagaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shasti Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gova Gopiya Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Jai Navadviptam ki Jai Gang Jamuna Tulasi Bhakti Devi ki Jai Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai Samavetta Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Go Premanandi all glories to the Son of the Bodhis, all glories to the Son of the Bodhis, all glories to the Son of the Bodhis, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutade Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunivadi Paschatya Desha Tarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare So this is the second part of explanation of Upadeshamrita by Rupa Goswami. So we covered 3 texts in the last night, discussing the different anartas or vegas, impulses which lead us into all sorts of unfavorable activities. And therefore the devotee should reject those things in order to advance in devotional service. So it dealt with we can say, the negative aspects of the material world which distract us from devotional service. So we have to avoid those different vegas, which means the mind. We have to control the mind. We have to control the knowledge-gathering senses, including the tongue and the karmendriya, hands and feet and genitals and belly, etc. So, text 4 deals with favorable items. So 6 items here are mentioned, which are signs of devotion, priti lakshanam. So we have the first 2, we can say they're grouped in pairs, to give and to receive, to explain the secret, or to ask about the secret, to eat food or to serve food, to give food or to eat, accept food. So these are the different aspects of showing affection. So this is how the devotees interact with each other. Now, of course, in devotional service, primarily we discuss how we can engage our senses and mind in serving Krishna. But then we have to interact with devotees also in a certain way. And we'll see in scriptures that the devotees are always praised, and association with devotees is a very important factor for advancing in bhakti. So therefore we have to deal with the devotees in a certain way. So here we have these 6 items, giving and receiving gifts or things, giving and receiving knowledge, and giving and receiving food. Of course, we could probably add other things to this list as well, of exchanges of so many different things, but you can say these are the broad classifications, of which we can say giving knowledge and receiving knowledge is maybe the most important of all. We need knowledge in order to advance in devotional service, so therefore we have gurus who give knowledge. In any case, satsanga is very necessary. It's emphasized in the Bhagavatam, and in Nectar Devotion by Rupa Goswami, he mentions 64 angas of bhakti, 64 different engagements in bhakti, including all the senses and the mind. And then he says 5 are most important. So we have hearing about Krishna from Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting the name of Krishna, kirtan, worshipping the form of Krishna, archana, association with devotees, sangha, and living in Vrindavan. So these 5 are considered to be very powerful to lead us from sadhana to bhava and then to prema. So here we see among them is association with devotees. Not only is it an important aspect of bhakti, it's actually the cause of bhakti also. Of course, we need faith in order to practice bhakti. Faith is the qualification. If we don't have conviction in the Supreme Lord and the scriptures that talk about bhakti, we won't do any bhakti. So we need some conviction. We have faith that what the scripture is saying is true. When Bhagavad Gita says, surrender unto me and unto me alone at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, if we have faith in that, then we'll ask, okay, how do I surrender to Krishna? What are my actions? If we have no faith, we won't even listen to that instruction. So faith in the scripture and faith in the conviction in the existence of the Supreme Lord is very necessary. But where does that come from? Where does that faith come from? So it doesn't spontaneously appear. So the answer is, it arises because of mercy of devotees. But it takes a long time. If you don't have faith, then you're not going to listen to devotees, so they can't instruct you. So it's only accidental devotion, such as taking prasadam maybe, or hearing the holy name, seeing Jagannath Rath Yatra on the street, and you see it go by and say, oh, that's it. So you get some blessing each lifetime, and after many lifetimes of exposure to bhakti by the mercy of devotees, then finally the Atma gets a little favorable and it develops faith. And at that point, then you start inquiring. You get inquisitive. And you approach devotees. And they explain scripture and you accept it. So that's the beginning of devotional service. So it's caused by association of devotees, but at first it's accidental because we don't seek it out. So then, you say that's the cause of bhakti. And then, once we do the processes of bhakti, hearing, chanting, worshipping, etc., how do we do that? We have to approach a devotee and get some explanation from scripture. So first there is accidental association with devotees, then we get faith. Then we go to a devotee, and we associate and we hear, and then we begin to practice. So very, very essential, the association of devotees. So after we start the process again, that doesn't mean, okay, we had our association finished and then we just go on with other things. All along the path of bhakti, that association with devotees is also important. So it's a continuous, type of bhakti, which is very, very powerful to help us advance further. So here, there's some of the 6 items are mentioned in associating with devotees. So you can offer things and accept things. Natural. If you receive things and you want to give something back. So this is what we call exchange. So this is an important element in bhakti itself, a show of affection. When we show our affection, then the other person responds somehow. The same with Krishna. We offer things to Krishna. So we offer flowers, or we offer incense or lamps or whatever like this. We're offering things to the Lord. So now we don't expect anything from the Lord, but we're trying to please Him. But the Lord accepts those things, and then He feels He must give something back to the devotee somehow or other. Of course, we don't see directly that the Lord starts offering you things back, but He actually is giving you something. He's giving you a feeling of satisfaction and bliss all along. So there's an exchange between Krishna and the devotee. So similarly, between the devotees, devotee to devotee, a show of affection, we give something, and somehow you receive something. This, of course, is between equals. Now, if you're acting for Guru and you like to give things to Guru, we're not always expecting the Guru is going to give things back to us in the form of gifts. But he does give something because he's giving his mercy. He's giving knowledge. He's giving instructions, etc. So that's the exchange. There's not exactly gifts, but he's giving knowledge instead. So that leads to this other exchange. You can explain knowledge to another person. That's called guhya, which means secret in the verse. You explain the secret, or you ask about it, and you get the secret from somebody else. So in other words, we can preach, and we can also receive preaching. We can give knowledge, and we get knowledge. So this is an exchange between devotees. If a person is ignorant, of course, he cannot give knowledge back. So this is referring more to the equal devotees. Where they exchange knowledge among each other. So we see in Bhagavad Gita, there it says they talk among each other, katayanti. They speak to each other and enlighten each other about devotional service. Now, if the other person is superior, then we have to receive. So we speak to a person who is ignorant, they have to receive, they cannot exchange in that sense. And if there is a superior devotee or guru,
then we don't teach the Guru, he teaches us. So there's no exchange in that sense. But when we get the knowledge, then we feel that we should do something again for the Guru. So then we may give something or whatever like that. So the exchange is not knowledge with knowledge, but there's a difference there. But when it's equals, and they exchange knowledge and talk about things and mutually discuss things. And giving prasad and receiving prasadam. So this is a very popular item. It was the most popular item in the early days of ISKCON. Everyone came for the Sunday feast, and we talked to early devotees. That's why they became devotees, because they were taking so much prasadam. So they joined the temple because of the food. So, and actually, who was cooking? Prabhupada was actually cooking the first feast even. And he was distributing it also. So, anyway, giving and then receiving. So you can take the prasadam from another devotee, or also you should give prasadam. This, of course, we see in case of grihastas. They are obligated to serve the guest. So they serve the Vaishnava by offering food to the Vaishnava. It's a very good service. And among equals, they can take turns giving and receiving prasadam. So very, very affectionate exchange. So the idea is that there is a relationship established by this exchange, showing affection to another person, and then receiving something back from that person as a show of affection. So it's an exchange, as with Krishna, there's an exchange of affection. So here also among devotees, there's an exchange. So this leads to greater intimacy, a good relationship, as with the Lord. When we offer things to the Lord responds, then we have a more affectionate relationship with Krishna also. So this type of exchange actually is very, very powerful. So we often talk about, the sadhu sangha is very good. And on the other hand, the other sangha is very bad. That is the association with the materialists. And that's one of the main causes of destruction or disruption of bhakti. It is the asat sangha. So sangha of either sorts is very powerful. This is the good sangha, and then the opposite is the asat sangha. So if we carry out these exchanges with the non-devotee people who are unfavorable and demoniac or materialistic, etc., can't control their senses, and we start giving and receiving, then this is very dangerous. We establish that affectionate relationship with them, and we get influenced by them, and we become materialistic as a result. So that we can say that exchange of affection and the bonds of affection lead to influence. So if you establish these affectionate relationships with grossly materialistic people, then you're going to get influenced by them. If you establish the relationships with devotees, then you get the positive influence of bhakti. So that's good. So we associate with the devotees, and we avoid the association with materialistic people. That is intimate association. So, the Buddha is praised for devotees, though, these 6 types of things. We should be very careful when we do that with the materialistic people, because by doing that exchange back and forth, then we develop affectionate bonds, and because of that we get influence, and then we'll develop similar qualities to the person. So in Nectar Devotion, Rupa Goswami says that people are like spatika, which spatika is crystal. So crystal is colorless. We put it near a red flower, it turns red. We put it near a black thing, it turns black. A blue flower, it turns blue. So people are like spatikas. They go near the asat person and they become asat. Go near the devotee, then they become devotional. Of course, nearness here means establishing that close relationship of affection. That's very powerful to influence. So we have to do that with the devotees and get positive influence. We have to avoid that type of relationship with the asat people, the materialists. Otherwise it influences us in a very negative way. and we develop material tendencies. So that's a very common sense thing. So it's a very important principle, and everyone should be aware of that. And even if one is not spiritual, one has to be aware of it in the material world. So if one wants sattva gun, one has to associate with sattva gun people. If one is in rajagun, then generally you associate rajagun people. If you're tamagun, you associate with tamagun people. But if you're sattvic and you associate very closely with tamagun person, then your sattva will get destroyed, will get influenced. So even in the material world, we have to choose our association carefully. So that is requires intelligence. But by this we can see that our gunas are not always fixed. It's not that you're in one guna for a lifetime. By choice of association, you can start changing. So you choose good association, you can improve your situation. If you're in the lowest tamagun, you choose good association, then you can get good, develop sattvic qualities. But even better than that, if we choose devotional association, we go beyond the gunas completely. We go beyond sattva gun, developing devotional qualities. So association in the material world and spiritually speaking is very, very powerful. So we should remember that. Okay, so the next verse deals with how we should interact with the different types of devotees. That was a general thing. In general, equals, we could say exchange like this. But then when we're a madhyam adhikari, then we're a little bit advanced. Then we distinguish different types of devotees, and we have to interact in a little different way. So this verse says that one who chants the name of Krishna, then you can mentally respect him. That's all he's not doing too much, good conduct. At least he chants the holy name. So we can say maybe he's a kanishta of some sort. So the madhyamadhikari, a serious devotee, then he respects him because he's chanting the holy name. That much he does. Mentally he'll respect. So a devotee who has diksha, which means he's quite serious and he's following all sorts of principles, he's dedicated to the Lord, etc., following guru in a parampara, he's worshipping the deity, the devotee should respect him a lot. A serious devotee. So he offers his respects to that devotee, not just mentally, but physically he also does that. So in other words, he gives genuine respect to that person. So that's a madhyama with a madhyama. And then he should associate with and faithfully serve the devotee who is skillful in worship and whose heart is completely devoid of criticizing others, the more advanced devotee. So he has to do more for that. So what does he do? Of course, he respects, as he does with the other devotees, but he serves him. And he follows his instructions. So that's with the superior devotee. He serves and follows his instructions. So in this way, the devotee relates to different types of devotees in different ways. He can mentally honor the one who's in a lesser position, and he can also give instructions to that person. He offers respects to the madhyama, another madhyama like that, and they can exchange ideas, and he will serve the superior devotee and follow his instructions. So we have divisions of different types of people. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there Chaitanya Mahaprabhu indicated 3 types of persons who chant the holy name. This is in relation to the people of Navadvip. One year they came to Puri, and then they asked Lord Chaitanya, who's a Vaishnava? So then Lord Chaitanya said, Prabhu Kahe, he said, Janra Mukhe Eka Krishna Nam. Whoever has or pronounces the name of Krishna once, he's a Vaishnava, and respect him. So the devotees thought, okay, that's okay, but they were a little puzzled by that. He just chants once. That's not a very good devotee. You should respect him at least. Samman. Respect him. So they went back to Navadvip because they stayed there 4 months in Puri. Then they went back. So 8 months they thought about it and said, why, how can it be chanting only once and you respect him? So next year they went back and again they asked the same question, who's the Vaishnava? Anyway, and he got another answer. So in terms of Bhagavatam, we have this particular verse. It discusses how he's called the Kanishta, who worships the Lord with faith but does not have faith in the devotees. He's a Kanishta. So he has no association with devotees because he has no trust in them. But at least he's doing some bhakti. So that's a lower type of devotee. We can say he's at Namabhas stage. He doesn't associate properly. So then we have the Madhyama Bhakti. He's not bhakti, he's on a higher stage. He accepts that the name is non-different from Krishna. He's chanting continuously, not once. He understands the position of Krishna. And then he worships him. He avoids asatsanga. He gives teachings to those who are innocent, ignorant, associates with devotees and honors Guru and takes diksha, etc. So when the people of Navadvip came the second year, they asked the same question. Again, who's the Vaishnava? And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the Vaishnava who constantly chants is the best devotee. Say Vaishnava Shrestha Bhajataha Charane. You should worship his feet. So constant chanting is better, in other words. You can respect the one who chants once, but one who's chanting constantly, better. So you worship his feet. And you give real respects to that person. Better position. So this more or less is the Madhyama, which we is mentioned here in the, this comes from the Bhagavatam. That's here. The Madhyama worships the Lord with devotion, shows friendship to the other Madhyamas, equal devotees, shows mercy to the Kanishtas, gives instructions to the lower devotees and ignorant ones, and avoids the non-devotees. So this is a healthy position for the devotee. So who's called the Madhyamadhikari, he can advance very nicely in devotional service by following this principle. So he treats the devotees in different ways. Those who are innocent and ignorant, he gives instructions. Those who are equal, he associates with very nicely in a friendly way. And for those who are more advanced, he takes instructions. So that verse mentioned Diksha, the Upadeshamrita. So what is Diksha? We often have a lot of, it has a very broad meaning for us, but it also has a particular scriptural meaning. And that is quoted, the first verse is quoted here in the Upadeshamrita. Divya Jnanam Yato Dadyat Kuryat Papasya Sangshayam Tasmat Diksheti Saprokta Deshikais Tattva Kovidaye. However, there's another verse that goes after that, and this is quoted in the Bhakti Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami. Ato Gurum Pranam Nyaiva Sarvaswam Vinivedyacha Griniyat Vaishnavam Mantram Dikshapurvam Vidanataha. So the first verse gives the broad definition of Diksha, but not the complete definition in one sense, because it gives the characteristic. Diksha is so called by the wise because it bestows Divya Jnanam and destroys sin. So what is being discussed here is the two syllables, Di and Ksha. Di for Divya Jnanam, Ksha for Kshaya, or Papasya Sangshayam. So we have that. Korya Papasya Sangshayam. So it's a Ksha there. And in the first one there's Divyam for Div. Diksha. So Diksha means get transcendental knowledge, destroy sin. So that's the process. However, we get transcendental knowledge and we destroy sin by Shravanam also, by hearing Bhagavatam, don't we? We get transcendental knowledge, definitely. And transcendental knowledge destroys sin also. Any type of bhakti destroys sin. So simply by Shravanam or Shiksha, you can also get the same thing. So therefore, the next verse says here, therefore, you should receive, third line, Gurniyat Vaishnavam Mantram. You should receive Vaishnava mantra. That is a mantra with the name of Vishnu or Krishna in it. After offering respects to Guru and offering him everything, offering completely your life and soul, then you receive Vaishnava mantra. So therefore, this process of getting transcendental knowledge and destroying sin takes place by receiving the mantra from the Guru. So that's the definition of Diksha, actually. So when you get that mantra, that is the Diksha. So this mantra is not Hare Krishna mantra. That's what we call Nama, the name, which doesn't require Diksha, because you have to chant 16 rounds before you even get initiation. So this is another mantra. That's what we call the second initiation mantras, which are secret. So that's what the Diksha does. It gives you the secret mantras for doing deity worship. So, Jiva Goswami actually explains in Bhakti Sandarbha the meaning. So he says, what is Divya Gyanam? Knowledge of the form of the Lord and knowledge of one's particular relationship with the Lord. And he says, in the sacred mantra, Srimati Mantre. So the Guru gives you mantra, and through that you get your Divya Gyanam. So you know who is Supreme Lord and our relationship. I'm servant of the Lord. So that's what the mantra does. It gives you your... of course, that's because a Guru may give different mantras. He may give Nrsimha mantra, he may give Vishnu mantra, he may give Krishna mantra, whatever. Now, in our Sampradaya, we just give Krishna mantra and Gauranga mantra, but a Guru could give many different mantras. So whatever mantra he gives you, then that becomes your worshipable deity. So that's how you get knowledge of the form of the Lord you to worship, through the mantra. And then he says, this is mainly for rich householders doing deity worship. So in other words, the mantra, those Diksha mantras, are used in deity worship. This is the Pancharatric process. If you want to worship the deity, then you have to have Diksha. With the Diksha, you get your mantra. With the mantra, then you offer things to the Lord with that mantra. You offer the food, recite the mantra. Offer incense, recite the mantra. So this is Pancharatric Diksha. So this is the what Diksha means. So therefore, it is a process for deity worship. And now, why he says rich householders? Because householders who have money should spend up their money in a spiritual way. So you can spend all your money on the deities, worshiping the deity. And if you're just a poor sadhu devotee, then you just chant Hare Krishna. So it's good for engaging rich householders and spending their money for the Lord. That's why I said this is for rich householders. So therefore we get the destruction of sin and spiritual knowledge through the process of Diksha. Or we can illustrate it that way. Through the Diksha, you get the mantra, and in the mantra you get the Divya Gyanam, name of the Lord, or the form of the Lord, and relationship with the Lord, and consequently destruction of sin. And we get a mantra of the Lord, and we chant it, and then we destroy the sin. But, as I said, that's not the only way we can get knowledge of the form of the Lord and destroy sin. We can get it other means. So we chant the holy name. We also get knowledge of the Lord and our relationship with the Lord, isn't it? And we also destroy sin. Ajamil accidentally chanted the name of Narayan, and he got destroyed all of his karmas, past, present, future. So the name does the same thing as the Diksha. But the Diksha, it does it in a different way. The Diksha mantras, which are secret, and they're used for Archana. The name is not secret, and everybody can chant it, but the same thing happens. We get knowledge, we destroy sin. But the Diksha is for those particular mantras, and they're secret. So that's what Diksha is. So then we can ask, well, why don't we chant Hare Krishna? We don't need Diksha. True. But Archana, or deity worship, is usually advised for the devotees. So we see in Nectar devotion, 64 angas of bhakti are there, and a lot of them are concerning deity worship. So it's a good engagement for people. So because people have fickle minds, by doing deity worship, we can engage all the senses. So we can chant Hare Krishna, but then we can engage our senses by doing deity worship. So the combination is very good. And we see the example of our Goswamis and Acharyas. They chanted the holy name. They also had deities. Many famous deities in Vrindavan, and later on Vishnu Chakravarti, Baldev, Vidyabhus, and they also had deities in spite of the fact that they were chanting Hare Krishna. So they did not reject the process of Diksha. But theoretically, one can just get perfection by chanting Hare Krishna. And therefore we have Haridas Thakur. Didn't worship any deities, didn't take initiation, just chanted Hare Krishna, and he's a Namacharya. Okay, so the Madhyamadikari, in our Sampradaya, we have two things. We chant the holy name, which we call Bhagavata Marga, chant Hare Krishna. That's the main sadhana, it's the Yuga Dharma. And we devote more time to that than anything else. And then we have those mantras, the deity mantras which we get at Diksha. And with those mantras, we perform deity worship. So the Madhyamadikari usually engages in both processes. So I mentioned that Pancharatrik Marg, that's the deity worship path. So for that we get the Diksha, through the Diksha we get the secret mantras, and with the secret mantras we do the Archana. We have Bhagavata Marga, that is chanting Hare Krishna. So technically we don't have to get Guru, but if we want to get Sudanam, pure name, not Namabhas, and we want to progress to Prema, we need proper Shiksha. So we need Shiksha Guru of some sort. We do the name and do Kirtan, whatever. So generally, we combine both processes, Pancharatrik Marga and Bhagavata Marga. But of course, there's an emphasis upon the Bhagavata Marga as far as our sadhana is concerned. There's another way of looking at Diksha. It's called Pancha Samskara, or 5 purification rites. This is also Pancharatrik. One is Tilaka, or called Urdhva Pundra. Another is called Tapa, branding. We don't do that. Technically, it's you have some iron, or copper, I guess, and you heat it up in fire, and they have symbols of Shankha and Chakra on it, and heat up in fire, and then brand your shoulders with it. So it leaves a mark on your shoulders. Yeah, Sri Vaishnavas do it, Madhvas do that. So it's called Tapa, which means heat. So that's part of the Diksha, or the Pancha Samskar. You get a name like Krishna Das, Gauranga Das, Madhava Das, etc. And then you get the mantra, the secret mantras. In our case, we have Gauranga mantra and Krishna mantra. And then you do Archana, the process of Archana. You're qualified for Archana. Those are called Pancha Samskara. Now in ISKCON, we kind of divide the two things up. And we get a name in the first, and we get the mantra in the second. So we call, first initiation, second initiation. But of course, the principal thing in Diksha, as scripturally speaking, is the mantra, which takes place in the second one, second part. Added to that, we have another Diksha. It's a Vedic Diksha. We would not confuse this one with this one. So this is getting Vedic Gayatri mantra. Vedic mantra, that's the Vedic Diksha. And traditionally it's completely separate from the Vaishnava Diksha. So Lord Chaitanya got his Vedic Diksha when he was 5 years old, and then he could chant the Vedas, etc. It's called Upanayanam. And generally that's what happens in India. The Upanayanam is completely separate from the Vaishnava Diksha. And when the child's 5 years old to 7-year-old, they get the Upanayana, and then should go to the Gurukul and study the Vedas. We see Krishna got his Upanayana and went to study under Sandipani Muni. So he gets his thread and he goes off to the Gurukul. So that's Vedic Diksha. It's completely separate, and we get Vedic mantra, and there's a Vedic sacrifice called the Upanayanam sacrifice, and by that, all of the young boys, they become brahmacharis. So that's the ceremony. However, in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had some argument or debate with the Brahmanas, and the Brahmanas were criticizing the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, as saying that Gaudiya Vaishnavas, if they're not Brahmanas, should not worship the Shalagram Shila. So then, a reply of Bhaktisiddhanta and other Vaishnavas said, no, because he's initiated as a Vaishnava in Pancharatric mantra, therefore he's qualified to worship the deity. It doesn't matter whether he's a Brahman or not a Brahman, and whether he's got Upanayanam or not, doesn't matter. If he's got the Vaishnava Diksha, that's sufficient. And that's according to scripture. But then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati also said, well, if he's a Vaishnava Diksha, then he's qualified to do whatever a Brahmana can do. And this is stated in the Bhagavatam, that anyone who even chants the holy name of the Lord once purely, even if he's a dog eater, less than a Sudra, immediately he can do a yajna that a Brahmana is qualified for. So based on that then, when one gets Diksha, and then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, okay, so we will also give them this. So do the ceremony and get the thread and give him the mantra. So he's qualified to do whatever the other people do. So that was his reasoning behind it. So therefore our initiation becomes a little more complex than original. We have this first ceremony where we get a name, then we get a second ceremony where we get the Krishna mantra, which is the actual Diksha, and we're qualified for Archana, plus we get the Vedic Gayatri, by which we become Dvija. I say originally very simple because we see that basically the concentration was simply upon the mantra. So often like Narottam Das Thakur, what did he get for his Diksha? The mantra, that was all. Guru given the mantra, bathed in the river, got the mantra, finished. That was it. We see in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Gopal Kumar gets mantra from Guru, that's all. Nothing else. And he's chanting the secret mantra, Krishna mantra, 12-syllable Krishna mantra. And goes on like that for a whole day of Brahma. Later on, he starts chanting name of Krishna, Nam Sankirtan. But first he was just chanting this mantra. And that was all. He didn't even have a name, just chanting mantra. So that's the main element of the Diksha, Pancharatric Diksha. Okay, so then we have the Uttamadhikari. The third year, the people from Navadvip, they came back, and they were asking, well, why did he say chant once, then he's a Vaishnava, then chant always, he's a Vaishnava, which is right? So third year they came back and they said, okay, who's a Vaishnava? And then Lord Chaitanya said, the best devotee is he who makes one chant Krishna's name. So not only he's chanting constantly, but he inspires other people to take up the chanting of Hare Krishna. So he's the best Vaishnava, always absorbed in chanting. So he's the ultimate. In terms of Bhagavatam, who is the Uttama? Highest devotee engages only in internal worship of Krishna, seeing no distinctions, no hatred of others. So he doesn't see demons, he doesn't see devotees. Everybody's devotional. Everything is related to Krishna somehow or other. So he sees the demons in relation to Krishna also favorably. And he's always absorbed in worshiping Krishna internally. So that's the highest devotee. So the Madhyama, what does he do? He mentally honors the devotees who chant the holy name. Those who are on the lower level, they may not be following so nicely, the Kanishtas. He offers genuine respects to the devotees who have undergone the initiation. They're serious devotees, engaged in worshiping the deity. So that's their qualification. If they get Diksha, they can worship the deity. So they're serious devotees. So give them proper respect. So you should associate with and faithfully serve the devotee who's skillful in worshiping and whose heart is completely devoid of propensity to criticize. That is elevated devotee. Okay, so the Madhyama, what does he do? He serves the superior, follows their instructions, listens to their instructions. He associates nicely with the Madhyama. So here we have in that verse to exchange nicely gifts back and forth, to feed each other and exchange knowledge. So that's basically the Madhyama. And then with the Kanishta, he gives instructions. Okay, text 6. Avoiding, this is to avoid sadhu ninda or criticizing the Vaishnava, where we have the positive aspects of exchanging with the devotees, etc., and giving proper respect. And then we have avoiding criticizing. The devotee should not see another devotee as a material being, seeing faults in his body or faults produced by karma and his nature. This spiritual nature of the Ganga is not dissipated if the water is contaminated by foam, bubbles, or mud. So the Ganga always remains pure, in spite of the fact that it may look impure. So this is actually, they say, scientifically proved. Scientists take the Ganga water that's after it's gone through all the pollution from upper and Mathura area. But when it comes down to Bengal, they take the water again and they examine it. Oh, it's pure again. All the contamination's gone out for some reason. And it's mysterious water, spiritual water, so it purifies itself. And you could put that water in a bottle and keep it there for a year, and it's still fresh. It doesn't go stale at all. Very, very special water. So the devotee is like that. I mean, superficially, there may look like there seem to be faults in that devotee, but we don't criticize him. There be faults of different sorts. It could be physical faults. It could be habits or whatever like that, way of speaking or whatever. So we give proper respect. So, why we respect, of course, because the devotees give mercy, they give spiritual knowledge, they can give realization, etc. So, we have to give proper respect. And the aparad, Vaishnava aparad, is the opposite. And it means disrespect. So therefore, what happens? No knowledge, no mercy, no realization. So we can say, well, I'll respect that devotee, I won't respect this devotee. But it doesn't quite work like that. We just respect one, then the whole line seems to get shut off. The mercy goes away from everybody because Krishna cuts the connection. So we should be very careful of Vaishnava aparad, because we come in one place, it affects us totally in all spheres. So be very, very careful. So we don't see bodily defects. Material birth, this is common in India. Oh, he came from a low family, so therefore we won't listen to him or respect him properly. We don't look at the sinful activities he did before he became a devotee. So when his younger years he may have been this, and then later on he becomes a devotee. So we don't look at his previous life. And even if he has traces of bad qualities at the present, then we don't criticize that, because we understand devotion means, in sadhana, means a process of anartha nivritti. Gradually we're becoming purified. So we don't unnecessarily criticize a person because of his faults. So, and after becoming a devotee, he may also commit a sin. It's not constant, but accidental, we call it accidental sin. So again, one should not criticize for that. Why? Because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself says, even if the devotees commit the most sinful activity, sudurachara. Durachara means the bad activity. Su means very bad activity. He said very bad activity. Krishna says he's still my devotee. Sador eva samantavya. Mantavya means one should consider, or one must consider, that he is sadhu. He's still devotee, in spite of the fact he's done the sinful activity. So Krishna considers him still a devotee, so we have to also consider him still a devotee. So, therefore, that's on the condition that that devotee continues his bhakti. He doesn't stop his bhakti, he continues his devotional activities. So therefore, he's still a devotee, and Krishna tolerates it. What is the remedy for this, or you can say the prayashchit or the atonement? Bhakti itself. Bhakti will destroy all of the problems caused by the accidental sin. So therefore, we have to be very, very careful. So, let me go to text 7. Though the holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all sweet, the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of ignorance cannot taste its sweetness. By carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish gradually develops and a disease is destroyed at the root. So this indicates that we have a gradual progression in bhakti, by which we gradually develop more taste, more attraction. So in the beginning, we have little taste, and then we have a lot of attraction to Maya. So we get a lot of distraction. But if we continue the process, then gradually the name and other processes of bhakti become sweeter and sweeter. And the attraction to Maya becomes less and less. So it's a gradual process of more attraction to Krishna, more taste, and distaste for material things. A gradual process. So we saw previously, Rupa Goswami listed the Vegas, that is the uncontrolled senses and mind. And if we don't control, we get all these unfavorable things. So these are the things that these Vegas are actually taste for material things. Uncontrolled tongue, uncontrolled mind, etc. We have taste for material enjoyment. So these things, the Vegas are leading us into material enjoyment. So in the beginning of bhakti, they may be quite strong, and the attraction to Krishna is little. So we can have struggle taking place. As we advance, then gradually the Vegas get under control more and more, and the attraction for Krishna becomes better, stronger. So, therefore, we have to follow very carefully the instructions given, avoid bad association, etc., and follow after the activities given by the acharyas, etc., associate with devotees, etc., avoid Vaishnava aparad. And by that process, taste increases. So we cannot expect immediate taste, but it will happen if we follow the correct process. This is just a quotation from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Devotees performing sadhana bhakti should always be attentive to the condition of their devotion, perceiving the state yesterday and improvement made today. So we have to be a little introspective to see how we are chanting, if we're improving ourselves day to day. If he perceives that after some days no progress has been made according to the stages given above, he must understand that some offense must have been committed. Having diagnosed that offense, he should give up that offense and correct the harm done by associating with devotees. So again, devotional association, very, very important. So here he points out that we have progress, we can say it's automatic progress if we follow the process properly. But if we don't follow properly and we commit aparad, then the progress doesn't take place. So particularly the aparad and the Vaishnava aparad, particularly the offense against the devotees, is a big block which will impede our progress. So therefore we can't develop taste because of that. So if we see we're not making progress, then we have to be very introspective and then analyze why. And as he says often here, it is offense. And therefore we have to correct that offense and associate properly with devotees. Then we can get the cure. We can nourish the bhakti lata or the creeper of bhakti very properly, and it'll grow nicely. A little elephant there, that's the Vaishnava aparad. Mad elephant offense. He is a little mad there also. So the mad elephant destroys the bhakti creeper, so we have to be careful of that. Okay, any question there?
One of the previous slides, you were talking about how people get the Vedic mantra when they're 5 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
If they get a mantra when they're that young, and they accept like a family guru or something like that, and then later on in life they take initiation, or they want to take initiation from like an ISKCON guru or something like that, is it an offense to their previous guru who gave them the mantra when they were 5 or 7 years old?
Oh, well, in one sense, you didn't even have to get it again. You could just get the other mantras. That's what's important to us. You wouldn't have to get that mantra again. And the other thing, of course, is that we say it's more of a formality than anything else, because we don't go to the Gurukul after we get those mantras, and we don't study the Vedas either, so it's more or less a symbolic that the Vaishnava is superior to the Brahmana. That's all it means for us, as far as we're concerned. Huh? And, of course, even in modern India, they get the Upanayana when they're 5 years old, but they don't go to the Gurukul either. Huh? And some of them, they get their Upanayana when they get married. So maybe it's just like save money or something. They use the same priest for both things. Get Upanayana when they get married and the next day. So instead of having 2 ceremonies, they all play one priest once.
Say that someone has taken initiation from a guru who is non-ISKCON. What would be their destination? And if someone has been chanting for years, has not taken Diksha at all, but comes to the temple and chants, but has now, what is their destination? Do they go back?
So if someone's taken initiation, if it's a bona fide sampradaya, then no problem. Or if it's another Gaudiya or whatever, and they're good conduct, then it's not a problem. And in one sense, we're not emphasizing initiation so much as chanting the holy name anyway. So the main thing for chanting the holy name is instruction, proper instruction, how to chant purely, understanding of the position of Krishna, what is pure bhakti, what is impure bhakti, etc. And how we conduct ourselves among devotees. So we do need knowledge at least, but we're chanting Hare Krishna, so that's the main element there. So if a person doesn't take initiation, but he's sincerely chanting, there shouldn't be any problem. But on the other hand, if he's specifically avoiding initiation for some reason, that's also not good. If it's by misfortune he cannot meet a guru or something, or in some places they're isolated place in the world, he's inspired, so he's chanting Hare Krishna, but he can never meet a devotee or whatever, then no problem, he can still advance. Well, that's Haridas Thakur, is the example. No initiation, just chant Hare Krishna. That was his example. And he's the Namacharya. Generally we do both, but maybe cases where they don't, so Harinam is highest process. Includes everything.
On that point, is there any difference between the Nam versus mantra
in terms of
the result? Like
result.
Like if you chant the Diksha mantra, do you get something that you don't get by chanting Nam?
No, same. But there's a limitation on the Diksha mantras because they're secret, secret. So you can't publicly preach those mantras to people and tell them to chant. You have to give them Diksha to do it, and it's secret again. So they chant them silently on japa, whatever, or they're worshiping the deity. So before Harinam became Yuga Dharma, before Lord Chaitanya, then basically a Vaishnava advanced by deity worship. So then the Diksha mantra is very important because they didn't have Hare Krishna. They just chant. They had Nam, but it wasn't so prominent, you know. And the main thing was their Diksha mantras and worship the deity then. And with Lord Chaitanya then we have the introduction of Hare Krishna, so that becomes more prominent. Both, the name is not different from the Lord, the Krishna mantra is not different from Krishna also, and it's also very powerful. But it also requires that initiation, which means that the guru looks at your qualification. If you're not up to standard, he won't give the mantra because it won't have effect. Just like traditionally for the Vedic mantra, they didn't give to the Sudras. Why? Because the Sudra wouldn't chant and get effect, no effect for him, useless. So they give to the upper Varnas, but not to the Sudras. So Vedic mantras require qualification. Similarly, the Krishna mantra, the Vaishnava mantras require qualification, not by Varna, but the guru will judge whether they got the devotion, and then he'll see. If they don't have, then he won't give, because they won't have such effect. Name is different. It has effect on everybody. No matter what their gunas are or whatever. We see Ajamil, a very sinful person, he chanted accidentally the name by naming his son Narayana, and all those karmas got destroyed. Okay? So the name has power in all sorts of accidental circumstances. And if you have a little faith, it has of course more power. And even if you have mixed bhakti or whatever, still has power. So therefore, without initiation, we give out Hare Krishna, and we encourage people to chant, and they can hear the name even if they don't have faith or whatever. When they do have faith, then we encourage them to chant, even without initiation, even in a lower standard. So it has effect. We say it's more powerful because we can give it to people who have less qualification, whereas the Pancharatrik mantras, they require some qualification to have effect. But ultimately, goal is the same, Krishna. They're both non-different from Krishna.
Maharaj, just regarding that quote about the Madhyamadikari only honours the neophyte in his mind. So is there some delineation with regard to they don't have so much of a relationship with the Kanistha Adhikari, it's more of like a mental worship, so there's a distance there?
Yeah. Well, that's particularly some Kanishtas who are chanting the holy name, but they may not be doing other activities so nicely. They may be sinful, or they may be like the, in Bengal we get the professional kirtanir, people who go around doing kirtan, but meanwhile they're just doing it as a profession and they're smoking and doing all sorts of things. So, okay, chanting Hare Krishna, very good. Mentally respect them, but okay. Then we have the other Kanishtas who are devotees of sorts. They're not doing sinful activities, and they respect the Lord in the temple, but they're also their minds are a little bit cloudy about who's Krishna and who's Devatas, etc. So they're not very clear on everything. And generally they don't associate with devotees, so they don't have much knowledge. So we can also give respect, and if they're favorable, then we can also preach to them.
The names that we get during initiation from our Guru Maharaj, now that name, does it have a special connection with our relationship to Krishna? Or are we just simply does it have any connection?
Well, generally it's just we're the servant of the Lord, or the servant of the gopis, or whatever like that, in general. Of course, the guru may have a special name, whatever, but I don't know, that's personal. But the general prescription in Pancharatras, you're just servant of the Lord, basically, that's all. Not particular pastime or something.
Also, in one of the slides, it said that we don't judge a Vaishnava by the faults they have produced by their past karma or their nature, things like that. Does that apply to pure devotees, or just like any devotees at all?
Yeah, of course, then we could say there's a limit if due to their past karmas, whatever, they're all committing sinful activities all the time, then we do have to say something. So that's a different case. So this is not like that. It's just that they may occasionally show some bad habit or some bad quality due to previous influence in this lifetime or previous lifetime like that. So therefore, we tolerate that as long as it's not an obstruction to their bhakti and to the other people's bhakti as well.
You were talking about that we associate with tamoguns and tamoguns will come to us, and we associate with
Rajagun, yeah.
And sometimes we see, and then we were also talking about Vaishnava Parat, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't judge, and you're all on the path of bhakti, and gradually all the sins will deplete, gradually the anger will go. Sometimes when we see a devotee who are just sometimes, and then we just judge because they're just getting angry. Or even when they're standing in the altar and they're just angry. And then how do you, so we should just avoid that, like just avoid that and understand that we're all on the path of bhakti and not associate with them, or how do we?
Well, you see, it depends again on the prevalence or the, let's say, the prominence of the anger or that particular bad quality. If it's constantly manifesting, then it's a problem even for, let's say, their own bhakti, and for the worshipping the deity, it may become offensive also. So in that case, then we do have to say something about it. If it's once a year, you may show a little anger or something, then it's tolerable, whatever like that. If it's a common thing, then it's a cause of concern because it influences his own bhakti, the way he's serving the deity, and obviously it's going to influence other people as well. So then we have to take some corrective measure. But it's not with the idea of condemning the person, rather to help the person. So if we're trying to help another person, that's also not sadhuninda. So I think Bhanu says that you should tell the truth, and you should not avoid telling the truth, but then you have to tell the truth so that it's very pleasing. It's helpful to the person, and they can accept it, and they can, benefit by it. So the real sadhuninda is we make criticism not for benefit, but simply to criticize or to maliciously disturb the person or cause problem for the other person. That's the bad sadhuninda, the one that has very bad effect, the mad elephant.
Finding fault, not directly, it's in your mind if you're finding some fault. Does it have an effect in your chanting? Like, I find some fault in devotees, he is not doing it properly. I'm not saying to him directly, but in my mind, within me, I'm talking about.
Well, we may see fault, but it's not something we should dwell on constantly, because then it becomes a problem. It's what we call fault finding. We're trying to find faults in everybody like that. So that's considered to be that's the fault, finding faults. If we see a fault in another person and we want to correct it, that's another thing. But we do it at the proper time. But if we're constantly looking for faults, then that's not a good sign. In fact, Bhaktisiddhanta said we should actually look for the good qualities more than the bad qualities. So we should find some good quality even in the bad person. We should concentrate on the good quality rather than the bad quality. Okay. One question.
I think it was in the last slide it was talking about cultivating a taste for the holy name.
Yeah.
And it said that this can be done if we avoid the Vegas.
Yeah.
Avoiding Vaishnava opera associated with the and so forth. And if you do all of those things, then you can
Advance. Yeah.
The thing is, when someone starts practicing bhakti, they don't know all these things, so they almost invariably do some of these things. They
Yeah.
in Vaishnava opera, or they can't control their senses, whatever it is. So it's like it's almost inevitable that they will lose taste.
Well, that's why we need good association and guidance.
Right from the beginning.
Yeah. It's more difficult if we're just by ourselves trying to do something because we don't know, and then we make all sorts of mistakes or whatever. So if we have proper guidance, then we can immediately, get all the proper knowledge so we can do everything properly. So that's why sadhu sangha and shiksha is necessary. Even if we don't have diksha, we need proper shiksha in order to do things properly. Even if we get it in a book, still we don't follow properly, so we need some personal instruction. So therefore, sadhusanga very necessary in all cases. Okay. Hare Krishna.
So, Bhanu Swami Maharaj ki